Showtime, a-holes. It'll be here any minute.
I finally got back out of here into the garage. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. Today I'm working on the hatch, which I've taken entirely too much time in putting that together. But I'll show you the hatch and the wing setup that I'm going with. And somebody asked about the gauge cluster in the background in one of my videos, so I'm going to tell you about that. First things first, I let this sit entirely too long. It got some serious pitted rust in it. It's gouged. I put the new back glass in it, so it has a new glass, new seal. So I got to sand this down. I got to flip it over and sand the rest of that, and I'll primer that today and paint it. As far as the wing configuration, these are aluminum mounts, which I welded up back in the 90s. This was for a 69 Nova, and never got around to putting it on the car. And I wanted to do a high wing setup with real close posts so they wouldn't be far apart, which I'd already set the mounts up here so you can see the whole configuration. So the mounts will sit here, so it'll be a close post setup. And the wing that I decided to go with, this came off of a Honda sedan. It's like a mid-90s Honda sedan. It was just a car that was sitting in the salvage yard, and I saw it and I said, well, you know, it's got a little lip on the top and in the back, and I said the best thing was these holes where I could put a button head bolt in and run the mount, and I could slide it all the way out or all the way back in. I've been looking for another one of these wings, but I just can't find them. So I'm doing these close brackets with, like I said, this is a button head bolt, and it's all stainless, and I've got the stainless nuts and bolts to actually mount it to the wing. So that's going to be the configuration for the wing on the back of the Cobrascort. The gauge cluster, somebody saw it in the background and was like wondering, like, dude, how'd you get that in there? This is a Phantom gauge from Summit, and again, I bought this for a 69 Nova and ended up not being able to use it. And all I did was take, this is a 3 3/8 160 mile an hour speedometer in the Phantom series, and I took this gray piece off the outside, took the shield off, took the gray piece off, and I had to cut just a little bit of the bottom piece out to get the round to recess it in. And as far as the back, I did have to split it here, but when I slide the clip in, it levels back out, and all the lights and everything work just fine. The rest of it pushes back in when I put the lights in, and it sits out just a little bit. So, but it sits in there nice. Hey, sorry for the break in the action there. My battery took a dive, so I had to go get the other battery, and I just kind of got wrapped up in something else. But I was explaining about the cluster. Let me get back to that. As I said before, this wasn't even purchased for the Escort, and I got this genius idea to put it in here. But I was talking about the clip. Everything kind of works, lights and everything. I did have to cut a little bit of the plastic out here in the back to get this to slide in, and as you can see, it kind of protrudes out and it pushes against the this ribbon. I put a little tape on that so it wouldn't cut into it with the metal. But the stock speedometer cable actually plugs into this. That plugs into your stock gauge cluster. It actually plugs into this nicely, and it locks in place like it does on the stock cluster. So it fits, it works. The whole inside is exactly the same. This is probably within a half mile an hour accurate. The best way I could test it was I had a buddy drive 55, and I kind of paced him and rolled along beside him, and it seemed like it was pretty dead on. So I'd say within a half mile an hour. The only reason I decided to put this in the Escort is because, as most of you know, the 120 mile an hour doesn't do the job. I know I was going well over 120, so I put this in and did a couple of pulls with the nitrous car that I had and the turbo car. It's kind of swapped it in and out, and it's definitely going over 120 miles an hour. But hope that answered any questions. And if people were asking about how'd you get that cluster in there, it fits in here nice, and it works. I only put 3,000. I think it was 3,200 miles on this thing, you know, swapping it back and forth from one Escort to another. I let my buddies run it too. So this is not going to be what I'm running in Cobrascort. If I can show you, let's see, it's hard to see, but I've got the white face gauges in there that I put in a long time ago. This has been in like 3 or 4 different cars that I've had, and it's got the red needles, and I've got all my gauges already set up in there. But that's basically it on this. So I just wanted to show you the hatch and the gauge cluster, and just wanted to make sure I followed up and finished this video out. And it's evening time now, and I've got on my fuzzy slippers, so it's time to go drink a little bit, kick back and watch some TV. So over and out. Have a good one.